Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Yoink Auditorium in today's performance of the complete works of William Shakespeare, abridged. I have a few brief announcements before we get underway. The use of flash photography and the recording of the show by any means, audio or video, is strictly prohibited by the management. Also, please refrain from eating, drinking, or smoking anything throughout tonight's performance. For your convenience, toilets are located in the bathrooms. Also, please take a moment now to locate the exits nearest your seat. Should the theater experience a sudden loss of pressure, oxygen masks will drop automatically. Simply place the mask over your nose and mouth and continue to breathe normally. If you are at the theater with a small child, please place your own mask on first and let the little bugger fend for himself. Now allow me to introduce myself. My name is Emily Goebel, and tonight our company is going to attempt a feat which we believe to be unprecedented in the history of theater. That is, to capture in a single theatrical experience the magic, the genius, the towering grandeur of the complete works of William Shakespeare. Now, as you can see, we have a lot to get through tonight. So at this time, I'd like to introduce one of our school Shakespearean scholars. She took an online course at Phoenix University and has schmooped many Shakespeare plays. She is here tonight to provide a brief preface to the complete works of William Shakespeare. Please welcome Miss Bridget Flood.
Thank you, Emily, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. William Shakespeare, playwright, poet, actor, philosopher, a man whose creative and literary genius have had an immeasurably profound influence upon the consciousness and culture of the entire English-speaking world. And yet, how much do we inhabitants of the 21st century know and appreciate the tremendous body of work contained in this single volume? Well, not enough, I tell you. I believe I can illustrate this point by conducting a brief poll here among the audience. Bob, if I may have the house lights for just a moment, please. Ah, yes, that's better. Now, you are a theater-going crowd, no doubt of above-average cultural and literary awareness. And yet, if I may have a brief show of hands, how many of you have ever seen or read any play by William Shakespeare? Any contact with the bard? Just raise your hand. We better get out of here. I think they know more than we do. We can get out the back.
Oh, they don't know Shakespeare from the Shake Shack.
What should I do?
What? Narrow it down.
Let's see if we can narrow it down a bit, shall we? Has any of you ever seen or read, let's say, All's Well That Ends Well? Ah, yes, that seems to be separating the wheat from the chaff rather nicely. Now, let's see if we can find out who our true Shakespeare trivia champs are tonight. Has any of you ever seen or read King John? King John, anyone? You have? Really? Do you mind telling us what it's about? No, don't ask her.
It's about a hunchback?
This is exactly what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. How many of you are here hoping for extra credit in Mr. Pennywell's English class? Oh, you laugh, ladies and gentlemen. You scoff. But let he among you who is free from sin live in a glass house. Ladies and gentlemen, I submit to you that our society's collective capacity to comprehend, much less attain, a genius of a William Shakespeare, has been systematically shrunken by sitcoms, compromised by computers, vandalized by video games, and insulted by Instagrams. But have no fear, your intellectual salvation is here.
Sing it, sister.
We descend among you on a mission from God in the literary muse to spread the holy word of the bard to the masses.
Testify.
To help take those first halting steps out of the 21st century quagmire of reality shows and into the future.
Amen.
A glorious future. A future where manly men wear tights with pride.
Yeah, you tell him, sister.
A future where this book is found in every hotel room in the world. This is my dream, ladies and gentlemen, and it begins here, tonight. Join us in taking those first steps down the path toward a brave new world of intellectual redemption by opening your hearts.
Hallelujah.
Now, on with the show, and may the bard be with you. Thank you.
Those of you who own a copy of this book know that no collection is complete without a brief biography of the life of William Shakespeare. Providing this portion is another member of our troupe. Please welcome Mr. Anthony Pizzetti.
No, they go in order.
Oh, okay.
As you can see, I'm not an audience member. Got you guys. Okay. So I was Googling Shakespeare so we could get the show off to a good start. You can know all the stuff he did and everything. Okay. William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was born in 1564 in the town of Stratford-upon-Avon, Warwickshire. He was the third of 8 children and eldest son of John Shakespeare, a locally prominent merchant, and Mary Arden, daughter of a Roman Catholic member of the landed gentry. In 1582, he married Anne Hathaway.
Different Anne Hathaway.
Too bad, she's hot. Shakespeare arrived in London in 1588. There, he dictated to his secretary, Rudolf Hess, the work Mein Kampf, in which he set forth his program for the restoration of Germany to a dominant position in Europe after reoccupying the Rhineland zone between France and Germany and annexing Austria. Shakespeare invaded Poland September 1st, 1939, thus precipitating World War II. Never knew that before. Shakespeare remained in Berlin when the Russians entered the city and committed suicide with his mistress, Eva Peron. He lies buried in the Church of Stratford. Thank you. That's all I got.
And now, without further ado, we are proud to present the complete works of William Shakespeare, abridged.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. One man in his time plays many parts. How true. Ladies and gentlemen, where better to begin our exploration of the complete works of the greatest English playwright than in Verona, Italy, with one of his most beloved plays, Romeo and Juliet. Our troupe will be attempting to portray all of his major scenes, while I fill in with bits of narration. We begin with the prologue.
Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona where we lay our scene, from ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their lives, bled, whose misadventure hideous o'erthrows do, with their death, bury their parents' strife. Thank you.
Act 1, Scene 1. In the street meet 2 men, tall and handsome. One, Benvolio, the other named Samson. Their hatred fueled by an ancient feud, for one serves Caput, the other Montague. Duh.
Oh, I like to rise, the sun she rises early in the morning.
Oh, I have a little doggy and his name is Mr. Jiggs. I sent him to the grocery store to fetch a pound of figs.
It's him. I hate his guts. I swear to God I'm going to kill him.
Ooh, it's him. I hate his dog, hate his family, hate them all.
Did you bite your thumb at me, sir?
No, I do but bite my thumb.
Did you bite your thumb at me, sir?
No, sir, I do not bite my thumb at you, sir, but I do bite my thumb. Do you quarrel, sir?
Quarrel, sir? No, sir.
Well, if you do, I am for you. I serve as good a man as you.
Ha! No better?
Yes, better.
You lie!
Rebellious subjects, enemies to the peace.
Uh-oh, it's the prince.
Throw your mistempered weapons to the ground.
Buzzkill.
You, Capulet, shall go along with me. Benvolio, come you this afternoon to know our further pleasure in this case.
Crown-nose.
Jerk face.
Oh, where is Romeo? Saw you him today? Right glad I am he was not in this fray. But see, he comes! Romeo, he rides. I'll know his grievances or be much behind. Good morrow, cuz!
Is the day so young?
The noon struck 9.
I be, sad hours seem long.
What sadness lengthens Romeo's hours?
Not having that, which having makes them short.
In love?
Out.
Out of love?
Out of her favor to where I'm in love.
Alas, that love, so gentle as you, would be so rough and tyrannous in proof.
Alas, that love, whose view is muffled still, should without eyes see pathways to his will.
Oh! Go ye to the feast of Capulet. There sups the fair Rosaline, when thou so lovest, along with all the admired beauties of Verona. Go thither, and compare her face with some that I shall show. Oh, baby. And I shall make thee think thy swan a crow.
I'll go along, no such sight to be shown, but to rejoice in splendor of my own.
Wasn't that good? Now to the feast of Capulet, where Romeo is doomed to meet his Juliet.
Oh, she doth teach the torches to burn bright. Did my heart love till now? Forswear its sight, for I ne'er saw true beauty till this night. Oh, wow. If I profane with my unworthiest hand this holy shrine, the gentle fine is this, my lips, two blushing pilgrims, ready stand, to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss.
Good pilgrim, you do wrong your hands too much, which merely devotion shows in this. For saints have hands that pilgrims' hands do touch, and palm to palm is holy palmer's kiss.
Have not saints lips and holy palmers too?
I, pilgrim, lips they must use in prayer.
Oh, then, your saint, let lips do what hands do.
The saints do not move, though grant for prayer's sake.
Then move not while my prayers affect thy
Then
faith.
from my lips the sin that they have took.
Sin from my lips. Oh, trespass sweet the urge. Give me my sin again.
Look, I want to kiss you.
It's in the script.
You kiss by the book. Oh, coming, mother.
Is she a Capulet? Aye, so I fear. The more is my unrest. What are you doing?
Balcony scene.
But soft, through what light yonder window breaks?
Oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name, yet if thou wilt not be but sworn my love, and I'll no longer be a Capulet. What's in a name anyway? That which we call a nose by any other name would still smell, so Romeo, Romeo, talk thy name, 'tis no part of thee, take on myself.
I take thee at thy word. Call me but love, and I shall be new baptized. Henceforth, I shall never be Romeo. What did you just say? Call me but love, and I shall be new baptized. Henceforth,
But love?
henceforth, I never shall be Romeo.
Okay, you're but love. But what man art thou? Art thou not Romeo, and a Montague?
Neither, fair maid, if either thee dislike.
Dost thou love me then? I know thou wilt say aye, and I will take thy word, yet if thou swearest, thou mayest prove false. Romeo, if thou dost love, pronounce it faithfully.
Lady, by yonder blessed moon.
Oh,
I
swear by the moon!
What shall I swear by?
I don't know. I've heard.
Lady, by yonder blessed virgin, I swear.
Yeah, I don't think so, Romeo. No, do not swear at all. Although I join thee, I have no joy in this contract tonight. It is too rash, too sudden, too unadvised, too like the lightning which doth cease to be, ere one can say lightness. Sweet, good night.
Oh, wilt thou leave me so unsatisfied?
What satisfaction canst thou have?
The exchange of thy love's faithful vows for mine.
Oh, I did give thee mine before thou didst request it. Whoa. I'm dinner first. 3 words, Judge Romeo, and good night indeed. If that thy bent of love be honorable, thy purpose marriage, send word tomorrow. 1, 2, 3. Parting is such sweet sorrow. Really it is. Bye, my love.
Sleep dwell upon thine eyes, peace in thy breast. Oh, that I were sleep in peace, so sleep to rest.
Lo Romeo did swoon with love, by Cupid he been crippled, but Juliet had a loathsome cause, whose loathsome name was Tybalt.
Romeo, the love I bear thee can afford no better turn than this. Thou art a villain, therefore turn and draw.
Tybalt, I do protest. I never injured thee, but loved thee better than thou canst devise.
Thou wretched boy, I am for you. Oh, I am slain.
What do we do now?
I don't know, we skip past all this stuff. Go to here. Go. Moving right along. From Tybalt's death onwards, the lovers are cursed, despite the best efforts of friar and nurse. Their fates pursue them, they can't seem to duck it. At the end of Act 5, they both kick the bucket.
Whoa! Gallop pace, you fiery-footed steeds, and bringing cloudy night immediately. Come night, come gentle night, come civil night, oh Romeo, come loving bright-browed night. Oh, night. Come.
Yeah, I didn't write it.
And here comes my Romeo. My nurse, now nurse, what news?
Alack the day, he's gone, he's killed, he's dead.
Can heaven be so envious?
Romeo, who would have thought it? Romeo!
What devil art thou to torment me thus? This torture shall be roared in dismal hell. Hath Romeo slain himself?
Ah!
He's gone, he's dead, he's killed, he's dead.
I saw the wound, I saw with mine own eyes. God save. God save the mark here in his manly breast.
Is Tybalt dead and Romeo slain, my dear cousin and my dearest lord? Then dreadful trumpets sound the general doom!
No, Juliet, no! Tybalt is gone and Romeo. He is dead.
Oh God! Romeo's hand shed too blood!
It didn't, alas, it did.
Ah! Romeo's vanished and Tybalt is dead. Tybalt is dead, who would have killed my husband. What am I going to do? I wish someone would come and advise me. Said I wish some friar lords. Romeo is banished and Tybalt is dead. I got cramps.
Julietta, I already have known thy grief. Take a piece of vial and these of distilled liquor and drink it thou offer, and presently through all of thy veins shall run a cold and a drowsy humor.
Ooh, I feel a cold and drowsy humor running into my veins.
I'm a told you so.
Thanks. Obi-Wan. I feel much better now. Oh, pretty colors. Yes, say no.
Oh no! My mom! My wife! Death that hath sucked the honey of thy breath, hath no power yet upon thy beauty. Oh, Juliet, why art thou yet so fair?
I don't know. Lucky guess.
Shall I believe that unsubstantial death is amorous, to keep thee here in the dark, to be his paramour? Oh, here's to my love. Oh, true apothecary, thy drugs are quick. Thus, with a kiss, I die. Thus, with a kiss, I die.
Get over it. Good morning. Where is my love? What's this? A cup enclosed in my true love's hand? Poison I have seen has been his timeless end. Oh, churl, drunk all and left no friendly drop to help me after. Then I'll be brief. Hatch me dagger, this is thy sheep. That's Romeo for you. Oh, my head! Oh, my brain! Then rest and let me die. The end. Epilogue.
Gleaming peace, this morning with it brings. The sun for sorrow will not show its head. Go forth and have more talk of these sad things. Some shall be pardoned, and some punished. For never was there a story of more woe than this of Juliet and her Romeo. And Romeo and Juliet are dead.
Michelle and I were backstage and we thought that was amazing.
Aw, thanks, Bridget.
Yeah, I mean, we got that done in 12 minutes. Let's see, if that rate will be done in 12 times 37 divided by 60 is 7 hours and...
Okay, let's see. Romeo and Juliet is a classic, unlike one Shakespeare wrote as a 24-year-old starving artist desperate for a hit, but too poor to know where his next meal was coming from.
It's no surprise that food dominates his first tragedy, the primitive revenge drama, Titus Andronicus. Now, we wanted to present it as a cooking show. However, censors found it too gory and offensive, so it was cut. Sorry.
Inexplicably, it was the biggest hit of Shakespeare's lifetime. It seems he was going through a Quentin Tarantino phase. The income from Titus allowed Shakespeare to move on to more mature plays, as we now present his dark, brooding tragedy, Othello, the Moor of Venice.
extenuate, of one who loved not wisely, but too well. For never was there a story of more woe than that of Othello and his destiny. Oh, no. Oh, Desi! Oh!
Bob, can we have some lights, please?
Yeah. We left Robbie on his own to research this one, and I'm guessing he must have Googled the word moor and thought it was a place where you tie up books.
I didn't Google it. I used Wikipedia. They're reliable sources.
Well, that figures.
There's no more.
Okay. In the 15th century, the word Moor referred to a person of African descent.
So Othello is black.
Not a boat.
Feel like such a dork.
Yes, well, that was the feeling.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we obviously have a bit of a problem in performing Othello due to the part being written for a black man, and or not. Clearly,
We're what you would call racially challenged.
Yeah. Basically, that's what we are. So bottom line here is that due to physical limitations, we are unable to perform Othello, the Moor of Venice. So I guess we'll just...
Guys, come on. Just because we're white doesn't mean we can't do Othello. I have an idea.
Robbie knows.
It's totally boatless, okay? Just listen and try to join in, all right? Drop a beat. Here's a story of a brother by the name of Othello. He liked white women and he liked green jello.
Oh yeah, and a punk named Iago who made himself a menace because he didn't like Othello, the Moor of Venice.
Othello got married to Desdemona.
But he took up for the wars and he left her alone.
it wasn't Mona.
Adrona, he left her alone.
He didn't write a letter and he didn't telephone her.
Now Othello loved Bessie like a diamond loved Venus.
And Desi loved Othello because he had a big sword.
But Iago had a plan that was clever and slick. He was crafty.
It was sly.
He was sort of a jerk.
Say I'm gonna shaft the Moor.
Are you gonna
Do it.
Tell us.
Well, I know his tragic flaws, that he's too damn jealous. He's a dupe, I need a dope, I need a kind of a schmo.
So we found a chump sucker by the name of Cassio.
And he plants on him Desdemona's handkerchief.
And Othello gets one to just name gift while he been out fighting,
Commanding an army.
Or does he and Cass playing hide the salami? Salami.
So we come back home and he smelled of the biatch.
And he thinks he pulled it off without a
Which
hiatch.
there's really at the
Who
door.
we met in Nashville.
Say, you big dummy, she wasn't no hoe, she was
Pure,
she was
clean,
she was
virginal
virginal too. So why'd you have to go and make her face turn blue?
It's true.
It's you.
Now what you gonna do?
And Othello say,
Damn, it's getting pretty scary.
So he pulled out his blade and committed Harry Carey.
Play that funky music, white boy. Ooh, and he got caught, but he probably caught the plea.
Loaded up his bags.
I moved to Beverly.
Hills, that is. But why don't we take a break from all this heavy tragedy and move on to the comedies for a while?
Great, comedies, cool.
So, when it came to the comedies, Shakespeare was a genius at borrowing and adapting plot devices from different theatrical traditions.
That's right. These influences include the Roman plays of Plautus and Terence, Ovid's Metamorphoses, which are hysterically funny, or not, as well as the rich Italian tradition of Commedia dell'arte.
Scusa, arte.
Right, arte.
So basically, Shakespeare stole everything he ever wrote. Wait, he plagiarized?
Whoa, plagiarize is kind of strong. Distilled, maybe.
All right, well then he distilled the 3 or 4 funniest gimmicks of his time and milked them into 16 plays.
You see, essentially, Shakespeare was a formula writer. Once he found a device that worked, he used it. Over and over and over again.
But I can never tell them apart. Like, what's the one with the big shipwreck and the identical twins and with the big wedding at the end?
All of them.
Right.
So, Mr. Shakespeare, the question we have for you is this. Why did you write 16 comedies when you could have written just one? I mean, one.
In answer to this question, we have taken the liberty of condensing all 16 of Shakespeare's comedies into one single play, which we have entitled The Comedy of Two Well-Measured Gentlemen Lost in the Merry Wives of Venice on a Midsummer's 12th Night in Winter.
Or Cymbeline taming Pericles the Merchant in the Tempest of Love as much as you like it for nothing.
Or
Four Weddings and a Transvestite. Comedy,
Comedy.
comedy,
Comedy!
What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor early in the morning? Way hey, let's rise this way, hey, let's rise this way, hey, let's rise early in the morning. Shave his belly with a rusty razor, shave his belly with a rusty razor, shave his belly with a rusty razor.
Act 1. A Spanish duke swears an oath of celibacy and turns the rule of his kingdom over to his sadistic and tyrannical twin brother. He learns some fantastical feats of magic and sets sail for the golden age of Greece, along with his daughters, two beautiful and virginal sets of identical twins. While rounding the heel of Italy, the duke's ship is caught in a terrible tempest which, in its fury, casts the duke upon a desert island, along with the loveliest and most virginal of his daughters.
oh, Father, I'm so lonely and pubescent on this island.
This innocent vision of loveliness stumbles into a dark cave where she is molested by an inhuman green monster who is either a man, a fish, or both.
Act 2. The long-lost children of the Duke's brother, also coincidentally two sets of identical twins, have just arrived in Italy. Though still possessed of an inner nobility, they are ragged, destitute, penniless, flea-infested shadows of the men they once were, and in the utmost extremity, are forced to borrow money from an old Jew who deceives them into putting down their brains as collateral on the loan.
Such a deal!
Meanwhile, the four brothers fall in love with four Italian sisters, two of whom are contentious, sharp-tongued little shrews, while the other two are submissive, air-headed little bimbos.
Act 3. The shipwrecked identical daughters of the Duke wash up on the shores of Italy, disguise themselves as men, and become pages to the shrews and matchmakers to the Duke's brother's sons. They lead all the lovers into a nearby forest, where, on a midsummer's night, a bunch of mischievous fairies squeeze the aphrodisiac juice of a hermaphroditic flower into the shrews' eyes, causing them to fall in love with their own pages, who in turn have fallen in love with the Duke's brother's sons, while the queen of the fairies seduces a jackass. And they all have a lovely eye-opening experience.
Act 4. The elderly fathers of the Italian sisters, finding their daughters missing, dispatch messages to the pages, telling them to kill any man in the vicinity.
However, unable to find men in the forest, the faithful messengers, in a final, misguided act of loyalty, deliver the messages to each other and kill themselves.
Can we die a little faster? I got a bar mitzvah to go to!
Meanwhile, the fish creature and the Duke arrive in the forest disguised as Russians, and, for no apparent reason, perform a two-man underwater version of Uncle Vanya.
Hoi!
Act 5. The Duke commands the fairies to right their wrongs.
The pages and the bimbos get into a knockdown, drag-out fight in the mud.
During which the pages' clothes are ripped off, revealing smoking hot female bodies.
The Duke recognizes his daughters.
The Duke's brother's sons recognize their uncle.
Hi, Unc.
The magician turns the monster into the next governor of Illinois.
And they all get married and go out to brunch.
Except for the old Jew who exits pursued by a bear.
They all lived happily ever after. All right. 16 plays in 5 minutes.
Not bad.
Yeah, but if we're gonna get out of here before midnight, we gotta get back to the tragedies.
Tragedies, yes! Oh, tragedies.
Interestingly, we found that Shakespeare's comedies aren't half as funny as his tragedies. Take, for example, his Scottish play, Macbeth.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. But you're not really supposed to talk about in a theater unless you're performing it, because
His curse.
Fortunately, however, we are not only able to perform an abbreviated version of Macbeth, but after much thorough research, we are able to do so in perfect Scottish accents. Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you our authentically Scottish production of The Tragedy of Macbeth.
double toil and trouble.
Stay ye, Emperor! Like Max Baker, tell me, Macmore!
Macbeth, beware, Macda. None of women born shall harm Macbeth till Burnham would come to dance in. Don't ye know?
Ah, that's it, great. Then what Macnee, Macguy, Macfear, Macduff!
Say you, Jay. And no, that came from my mother too. I'm tired of it. What do you think about that?
Ah, that's bloody disgusting. Lay on your great haggis face.
Oh, Macbeth, you killed me, wife. You murdered me babies. You want to loogie in me stew. Oh, you did, and I had to throw half of the way. Behold, here lies the usurper's cursed head. Macbeth, get us out the windy. And know that never was there a story of want, blood and death to not of Mr. and Mrs. Macbeth. Thank you.
Meanwhile, Julius Caesar was a much beloved tyrant.
All hail Julius Caesar!
Hail, citizens.
Who was warned by a soothsayer.
Beware the Ides of March.
The great Caesar, however, chose to ignore the warning.
What the hell are the Ides of March?
The 15th of March.
Why, that's today! Brutus, you just lost your Christmas bonus.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, so bury him. And let's get on to my play, Antony.
And Cleopatra! Is this an asp I see before me?
What did we talk about?
You have this bizarre notion that all of Shakespeare's heroines wear really ugly wigs and then vomit on people before they die.
It's an interpretation. Barfing on people is not an interpretation.
She was into it.
No, she wasn't. Dude, get a clue. Antony and Cleopatra is not a Pepto-Bismol commercial. It's a romantic thriller about the geopolitical power struggle between Egypt and Rome.
Yeah, like you knew. Okay, look, I'm sorry. Had I known it was one of his geopolitical plays, I never would have messed with it. Because that's like my favorite stuff of his.
It is?
Yeah, like all those themes he wrote about like 400 years ago and how they are still like applying today. Like, what was that one for about like nuclear energy and how it affected the Soviet Union? It was like a metaphor wrapped in an allegory.
Well, Shakespeare never wrote anything about the Soviet Union.
No, he did. It was intense. Chernobyl kinsman. Yeah, okay, so like this nuclear reactor broke down and melted and it was polluting all the air and the water of the kingdom of Chernobyl, but the king of Chernobyl denied it ever happened, even though it totally did, because like, as if we're going to second eds and stuff, it was insane.
Will, what are you talking about?
Chernobyl kinsman.
No, Shakespeare wrote two noble kinsmen.
Not Chernobyl kinsman.
Two. Say it with me now. Two.
There's a chur in there.
Two.
Okay, fine. What was two noble kinsmen about?
It was about a girl who goes insane with the fear that her boyfriend is eaten by wolves and her father hanged.
Was there anything about Boris Yeltsin in it?
No.
How about Putin?
No!
Well, I never even heard of that play, so...
I'm not surprised you haven't. It's not actually, explain. Ladies and gentlemen, Two Noble Kinsmen falls into the category of Shakespeare's plays that scholars refer to as the Apocrypha, or, in certain scholarly circles, the obscure plays, or the lesser plays, or simply the bad plays.
And yet, not all of the Apocrypha are without merit. One of them, in fact, Troilus and Cressida, is quite good. And actually, I was thinking that tonight we could do a kind of a improvised version of Troilus and Cressida based on this chapter.
Yeah, we could do an interpretive dance/performance art version. Oh, I love interpretive dance. It's so pretentious.
We could use Troilus and Cressida as like a jumping off point to explore the deeper meanings and themes of life, like the transient nature of life and the rising and dissipation of forms within the mythology.
Yeah, get some props.
And now wait just a minute, wait. I was thinking that we could do a straightforward, scholarly approach.
Nah, screw that.
Go ahead and read.
Fine. Troilus and Cressida was written in 1603, published in quarto in 1604, and appears in the first folio, although this version is some 166 lines longer than the second quarto edition of 1645, which is some 166 lines shorter. What?
So good. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, my theory has nothing to do with Godzilla or Santa Claus. It discusses the possibility that Shakespeare's works were published by Elvis Presley, who entered a time warp. I think it's groundbreaking
Wait
work.
a minute. Isn't there anything in there about the plot?
What? Yes, of course I cover the plot. What kind of scholar do you think I am? I cover the plot right here, in depth, on page 29. Troilus, youngest son of Priam, king of Troy.
Okay, you be Troilus and you be the king.
Okay, great. Loves Cressida.
I'll get the wig.
And has arranged with her uncle Pandarus for a meeting. Meanwhile, Agamemnon, the Greek commander...
Whoa. Agamemnon? Chris, this is so boring.
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 Look, this is the kind of stuff that kids hate to study in school because it's so boring.
Yeah, I'm sorry, like as soon as you said Agamemnon, I was asleep. Really, like, okay, ladies and gentlemen, I told these guys backstage I was not going to do dry, boring, vomitless Shakespeare for you people, because it's just going to turn them off from Shakespeare.
Will, you barely even know these people.
No, that's Joanna. We bonded when I was vomiting on her. She thought she was going to see Hamilton, and she's a little disappointed.
Okay, what's your point?
Okay. In school, right, when we would be studying all this Shakespeare stuff, I would be looking outside the window, all those kids playing ball. And I'm like, why can't this Shakespeare stuff be more like sports?
Sports?
What do you mean?
Think about it. Sports are exciting and visceral. Take the histories, for example, of the kings and the queens killing each other and passing the throne from one generation to the next. It's like football, but with a crown.
Hey, they are kind of similar, aren't they?
Yeah, I guess I can see that. Okay, let's line them up. Let's kick some royal butt!
Everybody.
All right, line up. I want a nice clean game of some good old American football. 25, 42, Richard III, Henry VI, part 1, 2, 3.
And the crown is snapped to Richard II, that well-spoken 14th century monarch. He's fading back to pass, looking for an air downfield, but there's a heavy rush from King John.
My gross flesh sinks downward.
The crown is in the air, and Henry VI comes up with it.
Victory is mine!
But he's hit immediately by King John, that really informed player from the 12th century, and he's down.
Ooh, he's killing him out there. This could be the end of the War of the Roses cycle.
King John is in the clear.
My soul hath elbow room.
He's at the 40, the 30, the 20. He's poisoned on the 10-yard line.
Looks like he's out of the game. Replacing him now is number 72, King Lear.
Divide we our kingdom and free Cordelia, you go long.
A penalty marker is down.
Fictional character on the field. Lear is disqualified and he's not happy about it.
Hockey.
Lining up now is that father-son team of Henry V and Prince Hal. Center snaps to the quarterback. Quarterback gives the hunchback. Looks like Richard III's limp is giving him trouble.
A horse! A horse! My kingdom for a horse!
There's a pileup on the field.
Let's take a look at that on instant replay.
Looks like unsportsmanlike conduct, Anthony.
Looks like unnecessary roughness to me, Chris. Fumble, and Henry VIII comes up with it. He's at the 20, the 15, the 10. He stops at the 5 to chop off his wife's head.
Who's your daddy?
Touchdown for the Red Rose. Oh my, you gotta believe this is the beginning of a Tudor dynasty.
Henry V, Richard III, the whole royal family's freaking absurd! Except Meghan Markle!
Bob, can I have the house lights up for a second?
Can I borrow somebody's program?
For just 1 second. I didn't want to get this.
Okay, now I know you guys might be wondering what I'm doing, but I just want to check the list of plays. I think we might have done them all already.
Really? Well, I guess we might even be able to let you home a little early tonight.
That would be great.
Did you see we did the histories just now?
Oh, and we did the comedies all at once.
That leaves the tragedies. We mentioned Titus Andronicus with all the blood.
Romeo and Juliet, we did.
Julius Caesar, Troilus and Cressida, right. Oh, we're at Othello.
There's a little party.
Macbeth, we did the scores of accents. What about Antony and Cleopatra?
Yeah, family commented on that guy right there.
Right.
Sorry.
Timon of Athens I mentioned. Oh, Coriolanus.
I don't want to do that one.
Why? What's wrong with Coriolanus?
I don't like the anus part. I think it's offensive and we have children here.
All right, so we skip the innocent play.
And that's it. That's all of them.
Wait, you guys, look.
Oh, no. Hamlet. How could we forget about Hamlet?
I don't know, it's right there.
Wait, Hamlet's not a Shakespeare play, is it?
Of course it is.
I thought it was a Mel Gibson movie.
Yeah, what's Hamlet even about?
You know, it's about the young prince struggling with his conscience after his uncle murders his father.
No, that's the Lion King.
Ladies and gentlemen, 36 plays down, 1 to go. Perhaps the greatest play ever written in the English language.
James. What? Hamlet's like really hardcore and serious. I don't think I can do it right now.
What do you mean you can't do it? We've done 36, 1 more.
No, but the football game must be like really physically, emotionally drained. I don't think I can do it justice.
Do it justice? Where have you been the whole show? We just have to do it.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah, me neither. Too many words and ideas.
Okay, guys, look, our show is called The Complete Works of William Shakespeare, and I think they want to see Hamlet, right?
All right. We'll still call it The Complete Works of William Shakespeare. Except Hamlet.
That's perfect.
That is the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard.
Okay, well, guess what? If you want to go and do Hamlet, go right ahead. We're not going to stop you. But Robbie and I were just going to come down and watch. I'm sure you guys will be great. I just don't want to. I just didn't want to be back. That was rude.
What you have now? Play nice, okay?
Please, have a cow.
Is your program back? Sorry, I got a little trashed.
All right, well, first thing is the guard scene. So we're going to need a Bernardo and a Horatio. Right, and we're going to need a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
No, they've got their own play. We can skip them.
Wait, where do you think you're going? Just come on.
You're not getting away with this! Okay, well, they'll be back any minute now, I'm sure. So, I guess until they're back, why don't we fill some time with some jokes and tricks? Yeah, sure. Anyone got anything? Okay, all right, please.
Alex, can you hold this for a second? Thanks. Here. My older sister Gianna showed me how to do this.
What else we got?
Then we got jokes.
Jokes.
Anything.
Yeah, cool.
What do you call a bear with no teeth?
What?
A gummy bear.
You're so funny. All right, what else? Anything else? Oh, okay, cool, go ahead.
We can do the splits.
I have this one joke. Okay, so there's this proctologist.
Okay, so now seems like a good time to have an intermission. So everybody can stand up, stretch your legs, and go get concessions from the patrons of the arts.
Good idea. We'll meet you back here in 10 minutes, and we'll be ready to proceed with Hamlet, the Prince of Denmark. I hope.
Good intermission, but it seems Robbie and Will aren't back yet.
But we just discovered that Shakespeare wrote over 150 sonnets. My favorite is, "Shall I compare thee to a summer day?"
Oh, my favorite is, "How do I love thee? Let me count the ways."
No, that's written by Elizabeth Barrett Browning.
Are you sure? Well, let's start with number 1.
Honey, we're home.
Will and Robbie, ladies and gentlemen.
We are ready to do Hamlet. H-E-L-M-E-T, H-E-L-M-E-T, what's that spell?
Helmet.
Oh, my helmet, I gotta go get it.
You guys gave him sugar, didn't you?
Mrs. Doherty gave him Skittles.
Well, I still don't want to do it. Too many words.
Just go.
Go, get it. Go. I bet Benedict Cumberbatch did. Bob, can we get some mood lighting, please? To set the stage for perhaps the greatest play ever written in the history of the English language.
Hamlet, the tragedy of the Prince of Denmark. The place, Denmark. The time, the 12th, maybe the 13th century, give or take. The battlements of Elsinore Castle, round about midnight. 2 guards enter.
Who's there?
Nay, answer me. Stand and unfold yourself.
Long live the king!
Bernardo?
Yes. It's 12:30. Get thee to bed, Horatio.
For this relief, much thanks.
Well, goodbye.
Peace, break thee off. Look where it comes.
Mark it, Horatio! It be spoke to!
Tis gone.
It was about to speak when the cock crew.
Break we our watch up. And let us impart what we have seen tonight unto
Hamlet, Prince of Denmark.
Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew, that it should come to this but 2 months' death, so loving to my mother, frailty, thy name is woman. Yeah, you. Don't act like it didn't happen. You know exactly what happened. Every Friday night, we'd go out to Woodfield and come back to my house, play some ping pong. I was all ping, you were all pong, and I was like, and then you went off with some other guy. I was like, what happened? What? And you said, we're just friends. And then you went, it's not you, it's me. Well, guess what? You're damn right it's you, because I was fantastic. I gave you everything. You don't understand.
Calm down, please! Okay. Let's try and stick on the script, okay?
Married to my uncle, my father's brother. Thy funeral meets did coldly fair marriage, the marriage tables.
My lord!
Horatio. Yes, I see my father.
Where, my lord?
In my mind's eye, Horatio.
My lord, I think I saw him yesternight.
So?
The king, your father.
The king, my father? But where was this?
Upon the platform where we watched.
It is very strange. I will watch again tonight. Perchance we'll walk again. Would the night were come, so that I... The air bites shrewd. It is very cold.
Look, my lord, it comes.
Angels and ministers of grace, defend us. Something is rotting in the state of Denmark.
Hark me, I want to bite your neck. Ooh.
Speak, I am bound to hear.
So art thou to revenge when thou shalt hear. If ever thou didst thy dear father love, revenge is found in most unnatural murder.
Murder?
Murder?
The serpent that did sting thy father's life now bears his crown.
My uncle.
Your uncle?
It's not the royal bed of Denmark, but a couch for incest.
Incest?
A couch! Again, Hamlet, remember me. Woo!
My lord, this is strange.
There are more things than are dreamt of in heaven and earth in your philosophy, Horatio, so pizzle! Ow! I hereafter shall think meet to put an antic disposition on. Oh, cursed spite, that I was ever born to exit right!
I don't wanna!
Get out there!
Too many words! Okay. Neither a borrower nor a lender be. Oh no, Ophelia, what's the matter?
My lord! As I was sewing in my closet, Lord Hamlet with his doublet all embraced, no hat upon his head, pale as his shirt, his knees knocking each other with a look so piteous and pervert, as if he'd been loosed out of hell to speak of whores. He comes before me.
Mad for thy love?
Ah! I do not.
Why, this is the very ecstasy of love. I have found the cause of Hamlet's lunacy. Since brevity is the soul of wit, I will be brief. He is mad. Oh, look you where the poor wretch comes reading. Away, I do beseech you. Ah! How does my good lord Hamlet?
Well, God mercy.
Do you know me, my lord?
Excellent. Well, you are a fishmonger.
What do you read, my lord?
Oh, words, words, words.
Weird.
Daddy, the players are here, and they want to talk to you right away. So you better hurry, because they want something. I don't know what they want, but you better hurry.
Go on.
I am but mad north-northwest. But when the wind blows southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw. I don't know. Have these players play something like the murder of my father before my uncle? I'll observe his looks. If he do but blench, I'll know my course. The play's the thing, wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king. Of the king! Shut up, please. What part of shut up don't you understand? Shush. To be or not to be. Oh, you keep laughing. Stop laughing. To be or not to be. I can't do it.
Bob, can we have some lights, please? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, what's wrong?
They're laughing at me.
Oh, no. They're not laughing at you. They're laughing with you.
No. She's laughing at me.
Oh, you don't have to worry about her. She's probably on drugs.
It's okay, Will. We've been talking about it backstage, and you don't have to go on with the speech if you don't want to.
So embarrassed. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll have to excuse him. It's a very heavy and emotional speech, and Will's been under a lot of pressure lately. What happened with the Avengers?
Spider-Man.
Yeah, so for tonight, I think we should just skip this speech. We think it's a really... You should have thought about that before you laughed. We're sorry if anybody feels ripped off, but we think it's a really overrated speech anyways.
Overrated?
I mean, look, Hamlet is supposed to be thinking about killing himself, but instead other way. He's talking about killing his uncle, but he's thinking about killing himself, and we just feel it really weakens the character in the plot. So we'll just move on to a later point in the play.
How about we skip to the play within a play sequence? Wait. There's that one other speech of Hamlet's, and I don't think we should cut it. The what a piece of work is man's speech.
Right. Well, there's this one speech that goes, I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth. For gone all custom of exercise, and indeed it goes so heavy with my disposition, that this goodly frame, the earth, seems to me a sterile promontory. This most excellent canopy, the air look you, this brave o'erhanging firmament, its majestic roof fretted with golden fire, what appears to me no more than a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors. What a piece of work is man! How noble in reason, how infinite in faculty, in form and moving, how express and admirable, in action how like an angel, in apprehension how like a god, the beauty of the world, the paragon of animals, and yet to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Man delights not me.
We'll skip that speech and go right to the killing.
Oh, wait, what about the, get thee to an nunnery scene?
That's
let's do that one real quick.
No, you guys, I don't know my weight. We can't do it.
We have to. It's central to the plot.
No, I'm not the right character either. You see, Ophelio's a very difficult and complex character.
No, it's easy.
It's not.
It is. Anybody could play that character. My mother could play that character. That lady right there, she could play that character.
What's good to do with that?
What? No, this isn't fair. Will, I didn't make you do your speech. You can't bring some bozo on stage to play Ophelia. That's not a bozo. Are you volunteering?
It'll be fun.
She's volunteering. She's not a bozo.
Over here.
You can do it. We believe in you. This can't be done. No. Whoa. Stop
Right in the middle.
Give him a mic. There. All right, now. What's your name?
Emily.
Hey, can we call you Bob? It's just easy to remember. We're gonna call you Bob. Okay, so Bob, there's this really simple scene with Ophelia. It's extremely difficult.
Okay, now, Ophelia has had this relationship with Hamlet, but what with what's been going on with his father, his mother, his uncle, yada, 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 you can't deal with her anymore.
He's being a prick.
So he gets all worked up and tells her to get out of his life. He says, "Get thee to a nunnery." Now in our version of this scene, all that Ophelia does in response is, well, she screams. That's all she does. Hamlet says, "Get thee to a nunnery," and Ophelia screams. Let's give it a try.
Good luck.
You got this.
Get thee to a nunnery. So he screams.
Did you guys hear that?
I thought it was really good.
It was okay?
No, it sucked, really. I mean, I don't mean to be catty, but you're not an actress, and frankly, it shows. I obviously had no idea what was going on inside Ophelia's head.
See, actors use what they call subtext, Bob.
Or inner monologue.
Exactly. That's what you didn't have. But I think you showed a lot of heart, a lot of courage, and as Shakespeare would say, chutzpah. And you guys, we should workshop this actually. Bob, can I have the house lights up, please?
Oh yeah, let's bring out the rest of the cast to help.
Yeah, I think we can create a nice supportive environment for Bob here. Oh, maybe we can get everyone to act out what's going inside Ophelia's head, like divide everyone up into her ego and super ego.
Yeah, like a Freudian analysis.
Yeah, Freudian analysis.
Cool, I'll get the ego.
Why doesn't the rest of the cast go coach the audience?
Who's gonna be our ego?
We got an ego. Come on up, you can try. All right. So, what's your name? Miko. Is it all right if we call you Bob? All right. Perfect. So, Bob, what we're gonna have you play is Ophelia's ego. Now, her ego, it's flighty, it's confused, it's an ego on the run. So we're going to have you symbolize this by running back and forth across the stage, okay? Do you think you can do that? Yeah. All right, we'll go. Stop. A little bit of an egomaniac. Well, Shakespeare likes Ophelia's it. So her it is wishy-washy, it's confused, it's awash in a sea of alternatives. So I'd like you to raise your hands and wave them back and forth, kind of undulate and say, maybe, maybe not, maybe, maybe not, maybe. Okay, that's good. Save some for later.
Sorry, wait. You there in, like the black next to the little boy, yeah. You weren't really participating with everybody, so yeah. That means you're gonna have to do it all by yourself.
Don't be afraid. Nobody's watching.
Let's do it. It's okay, all right?
3 words.
All right. I feel a lot of love in this room. Now, we're going to get everybody in the rest of the theater to play Ophelia's superego. Those are those strong, moralistic voices inside your head that tell you exactly what to do. But, it is a complex part of the psyche, so,
Everyone from my left over here, you're going to be section A. And everyone behind, maybe not people in this section, you're going to be section B. Then, everybody else, you're going to be section C. Very good. First in front of you, got it.
Okay, so now section A, you're going to be the masculine part of Ophelia's brain. So I think I'd like you to use Hamlet's line for this. I'd like you to say, get thee to a nunnery. Okay, section A.
Get thee to a nunnery.
Section A, that was decent.
Come on, people, work with us on this. We want it very loud, very strident. Section A.
Get thee to a nunnery.
Yeah, much less totally pathetic.
Now, section B, you're the voice of vanity saying, God's sakes, do something with yourself. Put on some makeup or something. Just, no offense. Right after the text. Okay. So what I want you to say is paint an inch thick. On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Paint an inch thick.
Ooh. Section A could learn something from section B.
All right, well, section C, we saved you for last because you're the most important component of them all. Because we're going to use you to draw this into a modern context so that Ophelia will be relevant to the women of today. So maybe she wants power, but she doesn't want to lose her femininity. Or she wants to be a corporate executive, but she also wants to have babies at the same time. And she just feels like saying, look, cut the crap, Hamlet. My biological clock is ticking and I want babies now. It's that
Hey, what do we have to say that?
Oh, okay, yeah, I guess we'll just have you say that then. All right, ready? Cut the crap, Hamlet. My biological clock is ticking and I want babies now.
All right, so now, Bob, we are going to put all of these elements into play. The id, the ego, the superego.
The biological clock?
Maybe, maybe not.
Your job, Bob, as an actor, is to take all of these elements, synthesize them within your soul, and then at that moment of truth, when all goes to silence, we cut to you, all attention goes to you, you just scream with that scream that epitomizes Ophelia.
Oh, she can't wait.
And remember, no matter what happens, act natural.
Okay, start with the ego.
Okay, Bob. On your mark, set, go!
Go! Faster! Come on! All right, section here. Let's
Boy, we really shared something there, didn't we? But we digress. Back to Hamlet. Act 3, Scene 2. The famous play within a play scene, where Hamlet has discovered conclusive evidence that his uncle murdered his father.
speak the speech I've read, as I pronounced it to you, trippingly, on the tongue. Suit the word to the action to the word, and hold us for the mirror, up to nature. Will my lord hear this piece of work?
Aye, the king too, presently.
Dun 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 dun! Now, how does my cousin Hamlet and my son?
A little more than kin, and less than kind.
I have nothing with this answer, Hamlet. These words are not mine.
Take a seat, my lord.
Gladly. Hey, yeah, you. Yeah, move it. King of Denmark seat? Yeah, out of there.
The Royal Theatre of Denmark is proud to present The Murder of Gonzago. My Lord, Act 1.
It's a puppet show! I love puppets.
Phenomena. Phenomena.
Hava.
Intermission!
How likes my lord to play?
The lady doth protest too much, methinks. Get it? Get it? She doesn't get it. I'll explain it to you later, sweetie.
My lord, Act 2.
Gesundheit.
The king rises!
Give her the play! Lights away!
No, take the ghost's word for £1,000.
My lord, the queen would like to speak with you in her closet.
And I shall come to my mother.
And I will hide behind the screen to hear the process. Where's the screen? Come on, where's the screen?
Mother, what's the matter?
Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, you have my father much offended.
What wilt thou do? Thou wilt thou murder me? Help!
Help! Help!
How now? A rat. Dead for a decade. Dead.
Now, Hamlet, where's Polonius?
At supper.
At supper? Where?
Not where he eats, but where he is eaten.
Oh,
no! It's Laertes!
Son of Polonius!
Brother to Ophelia.
Snappy dresser.
O thou vile king, give me my father. I'll be revenged for Polonius' murder.
Ah!
How now? What noise is this? Dear maid, kind sister, sweet Ophelia.
They were fair-faced on the fear with the hey naughty naughty, hey naughty. And it is great for many a tear with the hey naughty naughty, ha cha cha. Fare you well, my dove. I'm mad. I'm on my tiny little mind. See this? This is acting. Here's room for you and rosemary for remembrance. And I would have given you violets, but they all withered when my father died. Oh, now I'm feeling nauseous.
Hey, no, don't you dare.
Hamlet comes back.
What's the next scene with Ophelia?
What?
What's the next scene with Ophelia?
There are no more scenes of Ophelia. Hamlet
No,
comes
come on, I'm up for it.
That's all Shakespeare wrote. Hamlet
What
comes
happens
back.
to her though?
She drowns.
Oh. Okay, cool.
Hamlet comes back. What would I undertake? To show myself my father's son indeed. More than in
All right,
words.
Chris. Here we go.
Water on the stage. Mrs. Costello's gonna kill you.
Help me out. Here, take this. Just help me out.
So can we doing this?
All right, well, it's good. Okay.
To cut his throat in the church. Aye, until that end. I'll anoint my sword. with an unction so mortal, to where it draws blood, no cataplasm can save the thing from this compulsion. I don't know what it means.
This skull had a tongue and could sing once, but then came the Nutrisystem weight loss program. Alas, boy oak, I knew him well. But soft, here comes the queen. Catch me a while, not.
Lay her in the earth, and from her fair and unpolluted flesh may violets spring.
Farewell.
Hold off the earth a while, till I have caught her once more in my arms.
What is he whose grief bears such emphasis? It is I, Hamlet, the great Dane.
Gentlemen, Hamlet, may your kiss.
The devil take thy soul!
I will fight with him into my eyelids, no lug or wag. The cat will mew, the dog will have his game. Give us the foils!
Come, one for me.
Be careful, boys, they're sharp.
Come, sir.
Come, my lord.
Oh, look, Beyonce.
Where?
Here!
Oh, that hurts.
A very palpable hit.
Another hit. What say they?
A touch, I do confess.
The queen Kairos is to thy fortune, Hamlet.
Madam, do not drink.
I will, my lord. I pray you pardon me.
It is the poison cup. It is too late.
How does the queen?
She swoons to see thee bleed.
The drink. I'm poisoned.
Oh, villainy, treachery, seek it out!
It is here, Hamlet. Here I lie, never to rise again. I can no more. The king's to blame.
What? The point in venom too? Then venom to thy work.
Hamlet, I've been thinking. You're grounded.
To follow my mother! Die!
Forgive me, Hamlet, for I am justly killed by mine own treachery.
Ernest, heaven, make thee free of it. I follow thee. You that look pale, or tremble at this chance, that are but mutes or audience to this act. If ever thou didst hold me in thy hearts, absent me from felicity while, and in this harsh world, draw thy breath in pain, to tell thy story. The rest is silence. One moment, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you've been marvelous. But we've got a couple more minutes, so we're gonna do it one more time!
Without layers.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to perform Hamlet again very quickly. I'd just like to make a brief announcement since I know we have some children in the audience. You've seen a lot of props flying back and forth, some sword fighting, falling down. We make this look pretty easy, but in reality, it's very difficult and very dangerous. Please keep in mind that the cast has been trained in stage combat. And no matter what, remember, do not try this at home.
Okay, buddy? Go to a friend's house first. Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt.
My lord, I think I saw your father yesterday.
Would the night were come!
Me.
Something is rotten in the state of Denmark.
Revenge my murder. My lord, this is strange.
There are more things in heaven and earth, so piss off!
Ow!
To be or not to be. Good, my lord, get thee to an nunnery. Ah! Speak strippingly on the tongue as I pronounce it.
Give on the plague!
I'll take the ghost word for £1,000. How now, mother? What's the matter?
They will not murder me, help!
How now, rat? Dead or not dead?
Now, Hamlet, where's Polonius?
Dead, sir.
Where's my father?
Dead. soft, here comes the queen.
Hold off the earth a while.
It is ominous. It is I, omelet, the cheese Danish.
Take thy soul.
Give us the foils.
Come, one for me. Oh, I'm safe.
Oh, my poison.
Grab it!
Die! The rest is silence.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to do it even faster. Already dead. Stab. Drown. Stab. Poison. Stab.
Silence!
Now, ladies and gentlemen, these things are marvelous tonight, so just for you, we're going to do it backwards.
What?
I got a little caught up in the moment. Let's just do it. It'll be great. Let's do it.
Be sure to listen for the satanic messages.
Silence is rest thou, thee follow I.
Grounded are you, Hamlet?
Paul is thou.
Slave am I, oh.
Foils the Uskib, Dane the Hamletite is this.
Earth the awful.
Sweet, this is sweet.
Earth the ain't her lady.
Queen that comes here, you're a quarrel out.
Ophelia sweet. Father I as well.
Oh,
Dead, decadate or dead.
Help me murder double down.
Matter no what's mother now.
Play the organ!
Tongue on trickery, speech the speech. Mother to the yet, do my lord. Be two or not be two.
Ow!
Off, piss Horatio.
Strange as this Lord my.
Dinner mistake of a rotten assumption.
Yes, for my father your saw, I think I would my.
Now with flesh solid to this, that. Oh.
You say.
To give. If you are in the audience and we are giving you a thank you, we ask that you please come up, and if you're not here, you know.
First, we want to thank my mom, Sydney McManus, for taking photos during dress rehearsals.
Next, I want to thank Mr. and Mrs. Bremner for helping run concessions during intermission. We want to say thank you to Mr. Tilter for helping us with our lights and sound, because we're new to it. He's not here today, but we want to say thank you to him.
Thank you, Mr. Brankin, for being supportive with tech crew and dealing with us on Saturdays.
We'd like to thank Mrs. Reedy, who helps out with all these wonderful costumes that you see.
And next, we want to thank Ms. Schaefer for always coming to practice and giving all the casting crew one-on-one notes every day.
Next, we would like to thank the man who we all know and love, and who is everybody's best friend on a good day or a bad day, Mr. Calzaretta! And lastly, we would like to thank the woman who produces and directs all of our shows and does everything for us. She is like our second mom, and this show would not nearly be as good without her. Mrs. Costello, please come up.
First, I'd like to bring out the always forgotten, the unsung heroes. Our tech crew, would you come out front and say? You wouldn't believe how busy they are backstage, helping the actors go through all this aside from building the set. Thank you. I want to thank everybody, the cast, the crew, my staff, the parents, for believing in a very obscure play. When I brought it to them and they looked at the script, they were like, what? What? And I said, really, I've seen it, these kids can do it. When they first saw the script, they were like, what? What? And they came through. I said to them tonight, I had no idea this show would do as well as it did, would play as well, would have as many laughs. And I thank all of you for coming and believing when people said it's a show worth seeing. So now, unfortunately, it's time to put the show to bed and look forward to the musical. But thank you all for coming out tonight. Mary, thank you for running the lights so splendidly. And you did a great job. If you're up there, time to take the... Oh, geez, nobody's in the booth. Well, oh wait, Dominic. Our stage manager, bring up the house lights. Also thank you to Matt and Mateo and Matthew on sound. They had some problems tonight. They overcame them, figured out what was wrong. Thank you all so much for being here.